Good afternoon or evening, Tuesday. It is Tuesday, unlike my mistake
Taco
last
Tuesday.
week where I said it was Wednesday, and welcome back to our Wednesday Slightly Average Guys podcast. It is not, however, and was not last week. It is Tuesday. We have decided to switch. It works better for all of our schedules, so we do appreciate everybody joining, and hopefully everybody has the opportunity to catch us live every Tuesday near 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So welcome back to another episode of your Slightly Average Guys podcast. We really do appreciate you guys being here. Don't forget to always, if you haven't done it yet, like, share, follow, comment, and just come and join us in the chat room and hang out with us while we do this podcast.
All right, guys. We're now on Tuesday nights. We're going to call it the Tuesday night shenanigans. But we're actually going to try to bring some topics this week that flow from one to the next. Right? So, Ryan, one of the things that you've been looking into recently is buying a house, which we're going to get to second. But in buying the house, you obviously need a whole bunch of different things. And I think, from my understanding, the all-seeing eye, we'll call it for this case, and I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying the all-seeing eye, let's just give it a random name. Let's call it Facebook, Instagram, right? In quotes. Like, let's just give it those names. The all-seeing eye somehow knew you were looking for things, and you were going to make this potential big purchase in your life. So it's like, hey, what should I share with you? A whole bunch of random stuff that you could potentially buy, and you probably should buy, whether it's to fill your potential new house, or maybe you don't want to buy a new house. Maybe you want to buy, I don't know, a Black Hawk helicopter. So,
Sure.
With that being said, what did the all-seeing eye give to you for you to try to look through and come up with different things to purchase and spend your money on?
So I know we just talked about this, but the way he walked into that, I was like, holy shit, are we on the same page with what we're going to talk about? Is this something totally different that he's just going to throw at me and I'm not going to have no idea what's going on? Okay, you brought it back at the end and I'm good now.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yes. So there's this website essentially, and this website is basically the government taking over material or taking over assets, whatever it is, from big to small, property, land to tools, knives and pocket knives and computer equipment and all this stuff. They literally take this equipment over from seizures, essentially, if that's the right word, and they sell it on this website. They have planes. I don't know if I've never seen a Black Hawk on there, but they do have planes and helicopters. They have boats and marine equipment, construction equipment, heavy duty like equipment all over the place. The thing is called GSA auction.
.gov.
Not that .gov, yeah, GSAauctions.gov. And it's actually really cool. Not that anything is in good quality, but this might be one of those websites that you go check out and you find just one random thing that's just gold, one random thing that you're like, oh my, okay, there it is. There's a Black Hawk. I lied. I didn't even look at it, but it is just a crazy. So I've been looking at some vehicles recently, some residential vehicles, or I don't know, vehicles for the normal average Joe, for your slightly average guys. No pun intended.
Like this 1989 Yale gasoline forklift. That's what you've been looking up.
Money.
That's exactly what I've been looking at.
I mean, I feel like you could ride in the HOV lane with that. I mean, you're carrying enough weight.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
anyways, it was just crazy because you might find nothing, but you might find gold on this website, and it might be dirt cheap. So a pretty good website. I'll probably save it as my bookmark and just check it out every once in a while to see what's good. What do you guys think? Have you guys looked at it at all?
So I've never seen this one. I've literally never seen this one at all, but I've seen a lot of government auctions. And oh man, it was about the time that we started working for the Lash business, Andy, that I got down this rabbit hole. I think it was because we were getting a bonus or something like that. Down this rabbit hole of, all these different things you can bid on. And should I just bid on it just because? Because, I mean, you got a bonus check coming. I mean, might as well try to spend it on something stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it was or mostly around property, because that's where it was. And I was like, man, I could buy like 30 acres in the middle of North Dakota. And it's like, but you can't get to it unless you have a helicopter. So then you're down the road of looking up a helicopter. Andy, how about you?
Yeah, so I've gone onto like police seizure websites before and different things like that. And gosh, maybe 2 years ago, one of the local golf courses here was liquidating all of their golf carts. So you could go online, you could bid. It was the Karsten course down in Tempe. So you could go online and bid on them. And they were all, I think they were all electric, and they were all varying degrees of good, because we kind of wanted one for our neighborhoods we drive around, whatever. So I've definitely done that. I've even bought a ar at an auto auction live.
Ooh.
I did that years and years ago.
I always wanted to do that. Never actually, pulled the trigger of going to one.
Yeah. It was an interesting experience, right? So you had to have cash. Cars that went through, there were some that didn't have air conditioning, and at the time I was like, why would you not have air conditioning? So there were cars from the East Coast and things like that. So I actually ended up getting I think I got a like 2000, I don't even know what year, but it was a little Chevy S10.
Okay.
And I think I paid $4,000 for it. I had like 60,000 miles or some nonsense. It was a 5-speed manual, had manual windows to roll them down. Like, there was literally nothing wrong with it. I drove the crap out of that thing. So
yeah, and that's kind of where I was thinking too. Like, you might not find something personally for yourself, but if you're like a business owner looking for a vehicle, like that could be a great venue to go down. There were some cheap ass, like heavy duty F-350s, like Dodge 3500s. You know what I mean? Like, these are towing work trucks.
That's literally, I'm not kidding you. I didn't do this on purpose. I was literally looking at a Ford F-350 right as you were saying that. And that wasn't anything tied to what you were about to say. But
how much is that bad boy?
The current bid on this is $21,612, which is actually cheap. I will let you know that it's almost impossible to find a F-350 work truck right now. I know, because one of the places that I work for currently went to buy a brand new boom truck, and they were like, well, we can sell you the boom and all the stuff that goes on it because we build them, but we literally can't find any chassis, like literally. Jeez. And this was 8 months ago. They're like, yeah, like here, we finally found one in the middle of like Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they're like, okay, we can have it. You'll have it in like 6 months once we're done with it. And then the next one that we can find, they're saying middle of next year. It's like, holy moly.
Wow. That's nuts. Yeah, but these websites are fun.
They are fun. And I was even looking at like the computer stuff within there too. Like, heck, man, I might find a good tower at least that I can put stuff in it myself and get a $10 pretty decent tower, or maybe some other electronic equipment to go with it. Or they have some cameras on there. They have an actually decently nice camera on there as well. A little bit older, but still pretty nice. So it's cool. It was my first experience into something like that. So.
And, to add to this and some of the other things that I've done and I've actually bought from is you can go to Pawn Shop, and they have websites. So First Pawn, I think, is local, and they have websites per each location so that you could literally go on. It's like their eBay page, and it's just a buy now, and you can go on there and buy whatever the items that they have. So I actually did that. I bought a camera. I think it was like $50. It was a decent but older camera. And then I bought a lot of baseball cards, like not a lot of them, but you know how like they explain it's a lot or whatever it is, but it was just a crap ton of baseball cards. I never went and picked it up. So I think I spent $25, $35 on probably like 500 baseball cards and never did it. So I like to look at that every once in a while, because you never know what you're going to find on there, and there might be some really cool stuff. And I watched recently, Gary V's big into like going to yard sales, and he one of the videos I watched, he bought $20 worth of Hot Wheels cars, and one of them was worth $12.
Yep.
So you never know.
Yep. It's one of those value. Everybody overvalues your time when you realize like, oh, well, this one little thing, can 10x my money. And it's like, what?
That's right.
What? But it's I fall into this all the time, right? There's stuff in my garage right now that are left over from when we closed past businesses that I literally could sell. It's brand new equipment and stuff that I'm just like, God, this isn't worth for $50. It's not worth spending the time to take the picture, put it online. I'm like, why? I don't even know why my mindset's that way, because it really shouldn't be.
Right. Nope. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
maybe if you
same.
do it at like mass quantities, right? Like
Yeah.
the people who just buy and sell stuff on Amazon.
Yeah.
They're buying from literally the suppliers who make this stuff at dirt cheap. Like the water bottles. You know how many water bottles exploded like pre-COVID?
Mm.
You know what I mean? They went from like decent, like everybody had a nice water bottle, to like everybody's making water bottles, and it all became because somebody could buy it from the supplier for super cheap and just sell it on Amazon.
Yep. I would agree with that. So let's keep the show rolling and kind of talk about your current in the 2021. Sorry, God, let's not repeat last year. Well, I mean, this is already a half shadow of last year. Your 2021 experience of house hunting in the Phoenix market. And let me set it up for everybody that it may be watching that doesn't live in Phoenix area. Okay. The whole country is a hot market, right? It's definitely a seller's market, not a buyer's market. And there's a bad supply issue. Normally there's something like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, there's something like between 15,000 houses or something like that on the market at a decent market level. Like that's the low end, right? Like it's been like 2,500 for like the last year and a half is what's actually on the market. All homes, I'm not talking out in Ryan's price range. I'm talking all the way across the board on the supply. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy low how it is. So setting that stage, go ahead, Ryan, tell us how your experience has gone so far, because you have not found something, correct?
We found a lot, actually. Surprisingly, there's a lot of houses within our price range that look really good, and we're considering making an offer for them. But this is just what makes it difficult, is when you see a house for list price in this market, you got it. I'm not shitting you. You have to expect 20 to 30 grand over that. We put an offer in for 30 grand over asking price, and we still didn't get it.
Wow.
And that's just the way it is. So when you see a house, this isn't our range, right? But if you see a house for 400,000, and that's maybe your max, right? Let's just call 400,000 your max. You that can't be your max anymore, because you have to put 20 to $40,000 over that asking price. So just think of your range and drop that by like 20 to 40 grand. And that's what you're looking at. So it's just been extremely difficult. It's been a fun experience. I will say it's been pretty fun, but it's been challenging. It's not a lot of time, I don't think, because you just go look at houses for like an hour once you find a couple that you like, right? It's just challenging because even the open houses that you go to, there's lined up cars ready to just step inside that house.
Jeez.
They'll have an open house from like 8 to noon, and it will be like a freaking drive-through at Starbucks at 7 in the morning. It is insane.
I just pull up to the house. Yeah, I'd like vanilla bean frappuccino. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm here to like look at the home. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like looking at it. It's just insane. So, I mean, we're really exhausted from living in this place, not only being on the third floor, neighbors, dog. It's just, so we're looking, but it's tough to say the least.
And like you said, it's not a lot of time, but the easiest way to explain it, that from me going through it, because we took a long time to try to find the house that we bought back in 20.
How long did you take?
6 months.
Okay.
At least a minimum of 6 months.
All right,
It was
curious.
It was at least 6. I think it was 8 by the time we closed and everything. That was all the way done. It was almost a full year, because I had to. My landlord was nice enough to let me go month to month. And we were almost all the way around to the point where I was no longer allowed to go month to month. So, but it took us a long time in order to find it. It's just exhausting. It's exhausting because you do get at least you're now finding them. I know you've been looking for a while, and you've previously been through those weird lull points where it's like you literally find nothing. It's like, nope, you pull up, you're driving in the neighborhood. You're like, nope, we don't even need to stop at the house, right? And then other ones you're like, well, the neighborhood's not that great, but the house looks okay. I'm going to go ahead and spend the time. But like by the time you're done with it, you're like, nope. You know, it's just like there's so many of those. And that's when it's just so draining. When you actually start finding stuff that you like, that at least you can put offers in on, right? Like that's nice, but now you're to the point where you've put in an offer and it gets rejected, and that's exhausting.
But this is what I think the most, I don't want to say devastating, right? It's not devastating. It doesn't take a lot of time, like you said. It's just more of like a mental game is really all it is. It just plays with your head mentally, because we made an offer on one house out of all the houses we've seen. That one house kind of set at least my expectations really high. So when I'm going to see other houses, my mindset is, one, it's not as nice as the other one. Two, it is a little bit more. Yeah, it has this and that and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I will be more than happy to wait for something and not that is that first offer that we tried to put in an offer on, right? Waiting for that house. Now, again, tough situation. You always want to find something and just get out of your situation, right? Like this rental property and stuff. We're just trying to get out, and that's fine. But it's just like in the back of your mind, do I really want to put an offer in on a house that's, one, more expensive, two, doesn't look as nice, three, may or may not be in a better area, depending, right? And it's just like, where's that house? There's gonna be that house, and I just have to wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is you do have going, even though you guys are tired of where you're at and everything else, at least because I know the person that owns the place that you're renting from, like, right, it's not like everybody else. Like, I just had a buddy that lived in an apartment, and they were like, okay, yeah, here's your rent rate for the next year, and it was 30% higher.
Cool.
Like, for him to renew. It didn't matter if he was going to sign a 2-year, 3-year, didn't matter, 1 year. It's 30% higher already off the bat. And then they had the balls to ask him after he said, no, I'm not going to renew it, to say, well, can you please tell me why? It's like, I didn't get a 30% raise. And they're like, well, but it's comparable. It's comparable if you call the other ones in the area. It's like, this conversation's over. You literally don't understand. You know, all of you people do not understand. People are not making any more money, but everybody is demanding everything, right? Everything. Like, I get if you built a brand new place. This is the same shithole that I've been in for the last 10 years. Like, why is all of a sudden it's, gone up by $1,000? And I know it's not a shithole where you're at. You just have some crappy neighbors that you're having to deal with in the complex, which is
and it's
horrible.
just that time, right? I'm 30 years old. I'm about to be married soon. It's it's time. I've been living here for 5 years in an apartment. But you're given the extra rope of you at least have some extended time, right, to try to find someplace, even if it's exactly what you're talking about. You don't have to settle for something. Pushing me. There's nothing pushing me.
You don't have to settle for that. Like, you get down to that moment, you're like, I need someplace to go. Fine. This will
Thank you, Mr. Landlord.
And what's really funny about, you talking about seeing some place that's nicer and then going to some other ones and you automatically comparing it to that nicer one. The house that we purchased was like the second, I think it was the second house, not that we saw, but the second house we saw, like the 10th visit or something out, right? And we did not like this house at all because we had come from someplace that was much, 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 much nicer. And I'm talking like $100,000 more than the home that we were currently in. So we didn't give this place its, a fair shot, right? Like the home's been remodeled, but like the bathroom area and the master, there's like really the master bedroom is tiny. The bathroom is super tiny. The spare bedroom or the bathroom that's shared amongst everything is older. So like that alone instantly threw out everything else in this house is nice, but those things, and it instantly made us throw it out versus we saw this house again a second time, forgetting that we had saw it until we walked in the door. And I'm like, I remember this place. And then after we walk through it, I'm like, it's got every single thing that we wanted. We wanted a big backyard.
Holy shit, dude.
It's in an older neighborhood. And our yard, like we have 1/4 of an acre, which is huge in Phoenix, Arizona. You could put 3 houses on this property if it was a brand new neighborhood.
You just said something that is absolutely mind blowing to me right now, looking at houses. You got a second chance to look at a house.
Yep.
That is unheard of in this market right now. You better see a house and make an offer that weekend.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, like this house, like
we don't have time to think about whether we like the house or not.
And that's 6 years.
We have to make a decision in 4 days.
Yeah, which is crazy because like me, I bought my house in 2015, so we're talking 6 years. Your parents moved out. here to Phoenix from Indiana, and looked for a house for 10 months almost, before they finally had something and had fully moved in, right? So, and they were almost underneath the same piece as you, but it was like you at least had like 3 weeks, you know, before it was finally like off. Like, no, like I don't know how you're doing it. I literally, it blows my mind, because I wouldn't be able to make that big of a decision that fast, and if I did, it would be the wrong one, because I would finally get to the point where I'm like, let's just spend 70 grand more when we shouldn't spend 70 grand more.
Yeah, it's not fun. That's why I'm just being patient.
Which is the best, absolute best way to look at it. All right, quickly, we're going to round third and do the last topic, which should be fast, other than I got something to ask Andy about. But all right, if you were to pick a new hobby right now, right? I know we all have a few different hobbies and stuff, whether it's playing sports and different things, or doing random business ideas. But if you were to pick a new hobby right now, what would it be? And I want to kind of throw something out there. Like we had mentioned this, or sprinkled through this talk, right? There's massive supply chain issues, whether you're talking about trying to get stuff for your work, because that's usually where we're first seeing it. I'm seeing it massively at my work. I'm trying to get stuff, just equipment, so I can put a computer on somebody's desk so they can actually be an employee. Massively hard in order to get computer equipment, to the materials that we use to build the stuff that we do. So very, very hard. And now I'm starting to see it in the grocery store, not at an extreme level, not at a worrisome level at all, but it's kind of triggered me into a new hobby that I would like to pick up, which I think I've talked to Ryan, your dad, a year or two ago, that I thought would be good, is actually starting a garden. Because like that's not a bad thing to get into, right? Even if it's just a simple, small little herb garden, right? I'm not talking anything big. We used to have these huge grow boxes in our backyard that we recently just tore out because they were huge, left over from the previous owners. I mean, literally huge. So those are all gone, and I bought this little, planter box that stands up so I don't have to lean over and do everything. It's going to be really nice. So that's a new hobby that I would like to take up, because I always think that besides just spending money, if something were to happen, it'd be nice to just be able to like grow some tomatoes or potatoes or something like that in my, on your own. Like, Ryan, you got any new hobbies you would like to take up? I'm not saying you have to, but that you would like to take on?
Andy, do you have anything? I have one. I just want to articulate this a little bit.
I mean, no, but I did stumble across something that's very odd. I watched a video. It was these people talking about. It was on a podcast, and they brought up this idea, this topic. It's called Cucao. I don't even know how you pronounce this. Hucow. Mm-hmm. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever. Now listen, when I say that, I've looked up some weird, what, okay? And the whole idea here is that.
And I would, for the video.
I don't even know how to explain this.
Yeah, for the video watchers, I
Just
would pull
go.
this up, but no, I'm not having this on my Amazon history. I'm not. Somehow Andy stumbled across a book about it. And it's Cucao erotica, yes. and the name of it.
Cucao erotica.
Say the name of the book, and that kind of helps people understand. Sets the floor.
Let me see. The name of the book. I got lost in a whole other stuff. It's called. It's so weird. It's called Milked by Royalty, the full collection, a human cow erotic romance. Okay. So this is real. And that was actually my message to everybody, that this is a thing. So, if you're bored and you want some interesting entertainment, I'm not suggesting you go to Amazon and you type in Cucao erotica, but oh boy. I'm looking at some. Now listen, when I heard this and I was like, all right, I gotta go look this up just out of curiosity. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go to these books, and I'm going straight to the reviews, right? Because there's some great reviews on Amazon on the most ridiculous products. Like, if you ever want something traditionally fun and like weird, like not weird but just funny, if you look up wolf t-shirts on Amazon and you go to the reviews, they're fantastic.
Oh, okay? Absolutely. Yeah, they're great.
So I have no clue what you're talking about, but I just Googled it
Yeah.
on my phone. That way I didn't have
Yeah.
the whatever. And okay.
Yeah. So
Human cow. I mean, that's all you really need to say. Human cow. And if anybody wants to know the
cow.
details of said thing, you might want to buy this book, Milked by Royalty, The Human Full Collection, in quotations, human cow erotic romance. So Andy thought he was going to go to the reviews and it was going to be a whole bunch of people just
That's right.
roasting this thing, because that's like what he's talking about. A lot of these like cool things like wolf shirts, you look it up, like it's roasting and you instantly go someplace to look at the comments. However, you found something that made you question your moral compass.
What's wrong with people? I mean, it's not often I ask myself that out loud, but this is this is one of those things. So there's I don't know. Just,
You want to read one of the reviews?
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
need to know what you're talking about.
I feel like
Okay,
you need to
so-
read one so people understand how like these people. It's not roasting it. These people are like really into this thing, not the book.
This action.
Yeah, there you go,
Okay.
the action.
So I'm looking. The review for this book is called "Shipwrecked on Cucao Island." Okay. The description of the book: Captain Marcus is stranded on Cucao Island and he doesn't want to go home. I don't even feel comfortable reading the rest of this. To be honest with you. It's so uncomfortable. So
You should take a screenshot and post it.
it's so ridiculous. Anywho, that's the book. I'm not going to read the rest because it's so bizarre. So, anyways, there are only 2 reviews. One of them is I don't know. I feel like this person actually put too much thought into this book and was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever read. Well, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. The other one said, Lottie's done it again. I'm assuming that's the author. Lottie's done it again. This one may be a short, but baby, if you're into wet and creamy hijinks, this is a story you're sure to love. So
what you should do is go look up the author.
No, it's Jenna Cryer. That's the author. So I don't even know who this chick is. Anyway.
maybe this is Lottie. I don't know. Anywho,
it's just gotten
bizarre.
too awkward for 3 guys to talk about this.
It's the most bizarre shit I've ever read.
You want to know what hobby I'm on? Just kidding.
Yeah, so that's what Andy is not necessarily picking up. Cucao.
No.
He's just picking up reading erotic novels, apparently.
No. Listen,
Oh.
I will. I have to say, I support whatever you're into. You want to be a tree? You want to dive headfirst into this? Please do. I'm not.
You're not judging what you're saying. You're just like, you have now been awoken to this type of erotica, and your loins may be a little warmer. But anyway, so moving on.
Not a chance.
Yeah, moving.
It's like the scared little turtle.
Oh, okay. You got turtleneck.
Opposite.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just too weird. This was my line. I never knew what my line was, but like, this is Uncharted. Do not enter.
Oh, so you drew the line, or you went over the line?
Well, no, I didn't realize I'm not saying I didn't know I had a line, but like if I did, this is
okay.
past.
Hang on.
Like,
I was gonna drop this.
We get off camera.
I was gonna drop this, but now I truly want to ask it. I truly want to ask it because I want to know where your line was. Was your line the name of the title, the book, the stuff that happened in the reviews, or did you download the sample audio from Amazon?
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's on your screen capture that you put in the Discord.
Really?
So yeah, because again, I am not looking this up on my Amazon account.
You know what's funny about this whole thing? And I looked up one time, I went down this road about you can get paid to narrate books, right? You can upload samples. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be my audition. I am going to download some Cucao erotic novels, and I'm going to record myself, and that is my my audition. If I don't get every job that every author wants to have somebody narrate, I don't know. I mean, how could you not hire me?
You know what's funny is I really want you to do it. I like truly want you to do it because I feel like this is some weird thing where you're like all of a sudden like you're like, yeah, I never thought I'd be a millionaire, but somehow this is what actually made me money.
Right. I'll be on TikTok and like, hey, how'd you make your money? I narrate Cucao erotic novels.
Yeah.
You know, I'm driving a freaking Rolls Royce. You know what I envision it, Ryan? You know on Rick and Morty where they go to the Purge Island and Morty has to sit and listen to the guy read his screenplay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I envision my narration.
That's great. Oh, yeah, that put me to sleep.
More to come on that.
As she gets herself into the milking machine, she really enjoys what the crowd is looking at.
That's how good this author is. She uses really 2 times in a row.
Yeah, yep. Because I'm like, how do I go but not too far to get completely banned on any streaming service we ever want to do in the future? So, but let's go ahead and walk away from whatever train wreck that just was. And Ryan, did you finally figure out how to top that on what you wanted to enunciate for your potential?
Good luck.
I don't even remember hobby.
So I think there could be a lot, but a lot of them are really more geared towards doing something that makes money.
Okay.
But, you know, like doing something else besides just working and getting paid, working and getting paid, working and getting paid. So besides that, if I were to choose like a legitimate hobby, and this one, you could get paid from it as well, depending on how good you are. You sell your stuff. But I've always wanted to get into woodworking.
Okay.
My grandpa was a woodworker. He had an entire shop full of wood and tools, and he had everything set. And I used to go in with him and watch him make birdhouses. He made my bed. He just made a lot of cool stuff. He could make anything he wanted. So that always intrigued me to be a woodworker. But so much cost involved with all of that. You got to have all the tools. You got to have a place to put them. I'm not talking supply, right? Because that's a whole nother topic of wood just being more expensive. But if you want to make something, you got to have tools. You can't just rent them from Home Depot. So that's really my only downside to that one.
Yeah, totally. And that would be something that's fun. Because again, that's something that's on totally different scales, right? You can go from something that's small that you're just tinkering with to something that's large scale. And I know he loved to make birdhouses. Cutting boards and things. We have like 2 or 3 of them here, you know, that are still left over that we love. And, you know, so that would be something that's fun, you know, again, nothing that's too time consuming. It's like, you just want to go out and relax and do something. You can do it. You don't have to worry about killing plants like me. So
yeah. I mean, you just got to worry about cutting off your fingers. That's all.
That's true. That's true. You know, hey, to each their own, But we appreciate everybody joining us this week. Again, we are now broadcasting live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Arizona time. I have no clue what time zone we're in at this point anymore because I know we're about to change. So, but we appreciate those that are joining us live. I know we just stay still. Everybody moves around us, which is the most brilliant thing ever.
We're not changing. Audience, you figure it out. What time zone are you on?
Hey,
Yeah, you figure it out.
It's called this thing, Google, because that's what I do at work every day. When like somebody's like, well, here, do you have 10 o'clock available? I'm like, this person's where in Colorado? Let me just look up
8 o'clock
Colorado
Mountain Standard Time, 8 o'clock Arizona time. You figure out the rest.
Yeah. You still be there or be square, but we appreciate it. And we'll see you all next week.